Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to try and fix this Bang & Olufsen CD player. So this came out in the mid to late 1980s, and back then it would have set you back £575 back then. So that in today's money is over £1,400. Now luckily for me the price has come down since then, and more so with this one here because it's faulty. So I paid £59.95 for this, and you can see there it is a B&O BeoGram CD50 CD player for spares or repair. Now the eBay listing did say that the tray, they couldn't open the tray to test the disc. Maybe that's the only fault, or maybe the laser's gone as well. Who knows, there might be multiple faults with this. Maybe it cuts itself off after a couple of minutes. I really don't know. Now I've never owned one of these before, never been inside it before, never used it before. I know nothing about it. There's next to no information online apart from a few videos showing how to use the buttons at the front here. Luckily it looks like you don't need a remote control to actually operate it. So I might well completely break it just purely by trying to dismantle it, but that's the whole fun of these videos, trying to do something when you've got no experience of the particular product before. If you're a B&O engineer and you've worked on these many times, you're probably going to be cringing all the way through this video. But now imagine yourself with zero training and the first time working on a product. Now you're in my shoes, so hopefully you won't be too critical, but I welcome all advice and stuff down in the comments because that's how we all learn. So now let's open this up and see what we've got. Now this looks very similar to the tape cassette one I did, but I think that was a 5500 and this is part of the 5000 series, but I believe they kind of operate on the same amplifiers and stuff like that. Disassembly instructions for qualified servicemen only. Loosen screws, push up and tighten. Push cabinet backwards. Now that sounds confusing, but I think that was exactly the same on the last one that I had. Oh, there we go. I've got a dead little flies come out with it as well. So he could be my mascot for the video, so I'll just leave him in there. He can bring me good luck. Right, let's... well, before we do anything, let's plug it in and see what's going on. So it is a European 2-pin plug here, because this is a Danish product. So let's just plug it into a shaver, and let's plug this in and see what's happening with it. Okay, right, a little light on, so it looks like we have got power here. Open. I can hear movement, but nothing's happening. Display's working. Can you see there? So it looks like there's definitely power there, and it's doing something, but nothing's happening. Nothing's happening there. I can see the tray just here. Look. There we go. Okay. How about if we were to force it? Well, should I put a CD in and see what happens? I mean, obviously I need to fix the fact it's not coming out. It's very dirty. Could it just be the belt slipping? Let's put a CD in, and it's making all sorts of funny noises. I hope I'm not going to damage that. Let's see what happens if I push it back in. Do you know what? Because it's still making that noise, I'm going to unplug it. Because let's leave the surprise whether it works or not after we've seen what's wrong with the belt, because I don't want it just to keep whirring like that just in case it breaks something. So that's good news. There's definitely power in it anyway, but now this doesn't appear to be closing properly. Well, it does when it's like that. Okay, let's take it apart and let's see what's going on. So I've unplugged it. And we've got screws here and here, so I have to loosen, push upwards and tighten. So I must have to push up this and then tighten them again. Right, so this one is a type 5112, so now I can find the exact date of this model. Right, this is stumping me. Oh, there we go. Sorry, look, you just do that. You actually do just loosen them like that, push them up here, and then tighten them. And that must somehow break some kind of seal or something. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that does make sense. So loosen it fully until that lip thing comes over it because it's curved round. Put it up there, and then when you tighten it, it just lets that clamp come out of this thing here. Not the clamp, but there's a little metal thing here. Right, so I've got to be careful off the back here now because I've got 240 volts coming into it, so there still might be some charge capacitors in there. Let's nice and gently remove this. Okay, so that comes off there from the front. So it's nice and easy to get into. Looks like there's horrible paint put on the top there. I wonder what that's about. That's just been slopped around the place, hasn't it? Surely it hasn't left the factory like that, has it? And why does it need to be painted? What is that about? Strange. Normally you put the label side up and the disc side down, the mirrored side down. On this one it's the other way round because I think they thought that upward facing lasers were going to be banned in the US. So what they did is they made this with a downward facing laser, which I suppose is quite a bit different, isn't it, than what you would normally have. Right, we've got 4 fuses here. I'm just going to quickly test them, even though I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but just while they're there in front of me. Fine, 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 fine. Okay, so I'm thinking it's all to do with just the laser side here, and I'm presuming there's going to be some belt or some mechanism somewhere which is getting, which is gummed up. I'm thinking, or maybe a micro switch which is not working. So I'm going to turn this round to face me. Looks like we've got some massive transformer here. So I don't think I've got any risk of any capacitors or anything giving me a shock. Right, so this, let's see what's happening here. So this wants to come out all the way from here. It comes out there. And that brings that back in. So if I pull that back, oh yeah, so that does close the back here. Close the drawer at the front. So why is it not opening automatically? What's happening? I suppose what we have to do is we have to turn it on, and then I'll have to see whether I can see anything moving. I can't actually see any belts in this thing. It's definitely not doesn't want to stay up there either. Let's plug it in. I'm going to keep my hands well away from the back. So now, right, so what's trying to move? Something's trying to move. See if I can feel any vibrations. Right, there's a motor trying to move somewhere, but that's the only motor I can see, and I think that's just for the travel of the thing. So I think I'm going to have to get underneath it to find out why. There must be something slipping. I hope it's not going to be. I hope it's not going to be a broken plastic gear, because I can see plastic gears down here. And what often happens is these are the age now where the gears are shrinking, the plastic's shrinking, but the metal axle is not shrinking that they're on, and then it has nowhere to go. It shrinks, and then it just cracks. Right, so I've unplugged it again. Let's try to get out this assembly here, so I can get to the gears underneath it. Let's undo these 4 screws. This one, this one, and is there one up here? Yeah, that one there, and let's see what happens then. I wonder, is that what the Allen key at the bottom's for? To loosen them up, maybe, to allow you to take this out. Let's spin it over and loosen up the Allen key. Here and here. Ah, here we go, look. Remains of a belt. Oh yeah, a rubber belt. Right, so there's a horrible, that's what happens, they go all gooey over the years. So there's definitely going to be a broken belt in here, and that must be what's causing it. Right, those Allen keys are not to do with taking this out here. Oh, here we go. Just a little bit of strength. Right, I'm just gonna pop those Allen keys back in. Now, let's take this out. So there's a belt somewhere, and I can see a little bit more remaining of the belt. Just down, remains of the belt just here. Yeah, there. So underneath all this, there must be a belt. So I'm going to have to dismantle all this side, aren't I? Let's just put that there. So I'm going to have to take off all this to be able to get underneath it. It seems strange having it all upside down, like that thing there. That's normally the magnetic thing that goes on top of the disc. And it is on top of the disc, it's just that this is all upside down. That's very dirty. Thing is, there doesn't seem to be room here for a belt. Where would the belt be? I'm stumped as to... Oh, here we go. It's around this one here. I can see a little bit of black on this one here. Look real closely. It's about to say I'm stumped where it is, but look, can you see here? There you go. That's all the horrible black goo. So, how am I gonna... Where does it go? Where does the other bit go on? So that turns there. Can't see where it goes round. So here's another bit here. And look how soft it's all become. Look at that. Ready? Watch this. See? Like licorice. It's amazing how it breaks down. Right, so we've got micro switches here and here. This must determine end of travel and stuff. So we've got a tiny little Allen key here. I wonder, do I have to undo the little slot in here? Because we've got a little hole just here. I wonder, do I have to undo that? Lift this up. That moves out there like that. So this all needs to be cleaned. And then would this lift up, which would allow me access to these ones here? That's got a little circlip on it. That's got a circlip on it, but hopefully I might not need to undo that. I basically need to see what's under here so I can get to find out where this thing went round. Oh, here we go. Oh, does it unscrew? Oh, it unscrews. Oh, wow, okay. And it looks like they've just put a little bit of that glue, you know, that sort of, I don't know what it's called now. Used to use them on radio control cars on the like lock on the nuts. Loctite, is it called? Used to be blue. There we go. Excellent. That's out. So now I should that's going to be in the way there now, so do I have to loosen all that off? I think I do. There we go. Well, so that bottom bit just hits that micro switch. I don't know why it's a point. That point must lock in with something going along here, maybe. Let's have a look. Oh, it's this thing here, isn't it? This goes round, of course. This goes round, and then can you see when it gets to this bit, it's going to push this bit out more, and then hit the microstitch. I suppose to say that it's at the end of its travel. You've got to admit, everything's just so nice, isn't it, on B&O? Look at that. It's not like a lump of plastic, it's all metal. Here we go. Right, that's off now. Oh, here's the motor. Oh, it's all become clear now. Right, did I need to take that off? Well, I suppose I did too, because I'm going to have to take this off to get the belt around it. But look, this is the motor here. It's on this bit here. Yeah. So this is the motor. It needs to. I need a belt to go around there and there. Right, okay. Well, do you know what I'm thinking? I haven't got the proper B&O belt, but what I do is I do have loads of belts that have that I bought for Walkmans. You know, the Sony Walkmans. Now this isn't going to be critical. This is not like a Walkman belt, which is going to affect the sound if it's too tight or too loose. All this needs to do is transfer from here to eject it and bring it back in again. So I don't think there's going to be any problem with just getting a belt that fits. Even if you were to get an elastic band, I think it would still do the job. Obviously it's not going to be as good, but it's still going to do the job. Right, watch this now. Watch all the black stuff come out. Look, look, look. I think it's down the bottom. It's going to need one good clean to get all that goo out. Right, I'm going to get some kitchen roll. I'm going to clean all this up to begin with. It's amazing. It has just gone back to like oil. Right, let's get all that cleaned up, and let's see if we've got a belt that looks like it's going to fit. And then if it does work, what I can do is I can like put nice plastic grease on here and also a little bit in here as well. This grease will be fine left on there like that. Oh, and look, can you see there's a gap here that goes round there to then allow this to lift up? Isn't that clever? Can you see there's a gap there? So when this reaches a certain position, it must allow this, can you see that notch there must lock in with this here to say, you know, like to lift it up and stuff. Or to take it down to eject it. Right, that's one kitchen roll done. Now let's get another few. I'm just easing these circlips off because it's actually quite hard to clean. So I want to take the wheel out to enable me to clean it. Now I haven't got a proper circlip remover tool. I'm just using some flathead screwdriver and I'm just easing that out there. If you're worried about it pinging off, you could put some blue tack on it. There we go. That's going to be much easier to clean now. Look at that. Absolutely covered. Right, that's most of it off. I'm just going to use some IPA now to get right into the groove because even a needle is a little bit too big. So I'm going to use a brush and IPA and hopefully that will get rid of all these bits here and also all the bits on the cog as well. Oh, so the IPA worked an absolute treat on that and you can see now that all the black goo has now gone. I'm just going to put some IPA on the bottom of this motor as well. Now before I find a suitable belt for it, I'm just going to give all this dust a clean up in here and get rid of all this black goo and dust everywhere. Just cleaning around the laser. I'm not touching the actual laser itself. I'll do that with some IPA. Right, that is much cleaner in there now. So now I need to find a belt so we can put this back on. Right, now I've got to determine which belt is going to be best for it. Obviously it's just going to be complete guesswork because I don't know the size of the original one. Well, I think something like that might be good for it because it's quite a thick belt, and I'm just guesstimating against the motor there and down, and it looks like there's just going to be a little bit of tautness to it. So yeah, let me try and set this one up. Right, so I'm in it there. Now I'm going to lift it up this way. Wrap it round there and place it down. I think that might be tight enough. I don't know how much strength is going to be needed to pull it out, but I'll start with that one. If it's no good, I can always put on another one. So now we need to put the other gear. The other gear goes on top, doesn't it? Like that. Yeah, so we have to put the circlips back on here. There we go, that clipped in nicely. Now let's do the other one. There we go, that clips in as well. Right, we're going to put this back on now. There we go, that's engaged now. Yeah, that's turning, and also the belt's turning as well. So now we have to lock this back in, and also I then need to put this on as well. So let's try to screw this back in. I'm going to leave the old grease on there because this is quite thick grease on there. I haven't got any of that. That looks more like sort of grease you would use on your car. That's interesting. When I put that on there, I don't know if that's screwing in or not. Oh yes, it is screwing in. Right, I don't want to do that too tight now, do I? There's probably a specified amount this has to be up. Let's loosen it to there. But I think from memory this was pretty flat on the top. What I should have done is probably should have counted the amount of turns it took to take it off. I think it's going to be okay even if I'm slightly out, because look, this bottom gear is in contact with the runner here that brings this in and out. So as long as this is in contact with this gear here, I think I'm going to be okay. So even if it's right the way down there, it's in contact, and if I lift it up, it's in contact. So I think I'm just going to screw it up where it is there, and then I can always adjust it if it's not working. Now what I didn't look for when that was off is whether or not there was a flat on that spindle coming up, because if there was a flat, that's where that would have needed to screw into. But that appears to be doing what it needs to do. So now I need to place this back on. Right, so I'm forcing it down now just to see if it's going to skip on this bit here. Yeah, so when it's all the way in, it is moving that micro switch over. So you know when I push this all the way in, that little micro switch is moving over. So I think it might be okay. Right, let's put a little bit of grease everywhere, and also I'm just going to slightly clean up this laser as well. I think this time I'm not going to use any IPA on it. I'm just going to use a clean cotton bud and just touch it gently, because it's a downward facing laser, so dust isn't going to sit on there like a normal, you know, games console laser. Right, let's get some grease in around here, and I'm going to be using some Molykote synthetic grease, EM30L. Here and there greased up. So now I think we'll put it back together, and we'll leave the lid off, and let's just see what's happening. I'm not sure now whether everything's going to sync up in line with each other or whether adjustments will have to be made. But you can definitely see now with that belt down here, when I move it in and out, that the belt is moving. And let's plug it in and see if it ejects. There we go, come on, out you come. Excellent. And I suppose to close it, do you just push it in? I think you do. Excellent, and it's closed itself. So now we have to actually get a disc and see if everything starts spinning up or not. Right, so let's see if the disc is actually spinning. To put it in that way up, which is unusual. I wish there was a button you could press to bring it back in again. Oh, there you go, you can press play and it brings it back in. Now, is it actually going to do anything? I don't think it is. Anything trying to turn? Right, so it's not attempting to read it because this is not like moving. It's not scanning across the disc. So let's open it up. Oh, there you go. So open. Oh, now it's going back in. Doesn't seem to be lifting it up enough, I don't think. So what does this thing do? Is that the thing? So that's the actual thing that turns the disc, isn't it? Shouldn't this, I wonder, is this thing here jammed? Have I got something not set correctly, I wonder? Just going to put it on its side just to see if gravity plays any impact on it. Okay, so that came out there. Right, so it's not putting itself up. The disc isn't putting itself up to the actual spindle thing. So let's turn it off. Well, let's eject the disc. I wonder, is my belt too weak? Let's unplug it. I wonder, is the belt spinning, you know, like slipping? Thing is, I wouldn't be seeing the belt skip, would I? It would be the actual the motor that's skipping. Right, I think what we'll do is let's try to put in a stronger belt. Right, so I'm going to get a smaller one than this. I'm also going to look on eBay to see if they are available to buy. Yeah, they are available for sale, and what's interesting is it says please make sure you have the version of your model before making a purchase. Type number is very important. So this is a BeoGram CD50 type 5112, and that is the same as my one here, type 5112. So maybe then if it's a, you know, like a millimetre too big or too small, maybe that makes all the difference. So this one here is £7.90 plus free postage, so it's not cheap. It's just because there's not many people selling it, that's why it's so expensive. What's interesting as well is you can also get a recap kit as well. So if you have a look here from Germany, can you see a BeoGram CD50 player adapter power supply recapping kit? So maybe it's quite common for the caps to, I suppose they're at the age now where they're going to be possibly faulty. Right, so I'm going to put a tighter one in just for the time being, because otherwise I'm going to have to wait for this one to arrive, and I want to know if it's this that's faulty or whether there's other things wrong with it as well. I'm going to go the next size down and see if that makes any difference. That next one is on now, so let's pop this back together. Look at this, maybe the alignment does matter, because look, I've just popped this on now, and watch this one here, it starts going up before this is even closed. So watch, there, it's wanting to go up now. So that's no good. So maybe the alignment is very important. So let's take that off now. And let's just spin this round and see where it wants to be. There. Right, so now let's see what happens here. No. Looking better. Yeah, but now, see, it doesn't go up, so maybe the old belt wasn't faulty. That's not going up now, is it? All I've done is turned this around here, and now I'm thinking maybe if I trap that bit in this bit here, like that, and maybe that's why you need to have this bit on here to keep it down, to stop it from going up. That makes more sense, doesn't it? So now if I was to keep that down there, but that doesn't go that way, No, that's not going to allow me to turn around there. Let's put that all the way in. Right, let's try that now. So force that down. So that's going up now. Can you see now? It's completely different than it was before. So now we go that way. Right, I think I'm starting to get it, but right now it's not going to eject because we're the Yes, that might be it. That might be it. It's making funny noises, but let's pop this on. Now look, it's bringing it up. Ready? So, close the lid, and now watch. Now it comes up. Can you see? Right, let's pop this thing back on, and then we'll try it again, see if it does anything different now than it did before. Right, while I'm here, I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on this thing here. Right, here we go. Let's see what it does. So I'm going to put it all the way in. It doesn't want to close, but that's probably because there's no power to it. Right, so now let's eject. Put a disc in. Press play. Brings it in. Brings it up. No! Oh! But it brought it up. Why is it not sticking? Let's put it back down flat again. That's just my mat getting in the way. What's going on? Why is it not engaging up? Why is it not staying in that position? Is it making like a clicking noise? Yeah, it makes like a clicking noise, doesn't it? So that lifts it up, but why is it not staying there? Let me zoom in closer, see if any of you guys know. Is it something to do with that bottom thing again? Shall I put it on its side and see if it's if that helps it? No, it's the same. Just the disc's falling out of it now. Right, okay, I'll take it apart again and see if I can work out what's going on. Now I'm wondering what tells it that there's a disc in there. Now if you have a look, we have got some component down here and there is a little cutout on the actual tray that marries up with the component. Can you see this little cutout here? So this must be how it knows whether there's a disc in here or not. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing again but without a disc, and I'm going to see if it makes that clicking noise. If it does, then maybe it's the fact that it's not recognising there's a disc in there and it just ejects it again. So now let's see what it does without a disc. No, it doesn't do that clicking thing, so it's like it is recognising there's a disc there. In fact, this must be the other side of the, you know, the square thing that recognises whether there's a disc in here or not. So I'm wondering if that sensor's working okay. So this must send a beam from the top to the bottom to say, you know, like if that's broken, then it's going to try to play. But saying that, it is trying to play, so that says that that is okay, because right now it's not even attempting. There you go. I've held it down here and it started to spin. Did you see that? I held it down here and it started to spin for a second. Right, it did one time anyway. Could it be the adjustment? Maybe this needs to be perfect in order for it to work. So let's try it now. Definitely span for a second. That's giving me hope now. Let's try it over here. No. There we go. There we go. Yes. Brilliant. Yes, yes, yes. I'd do the fist pump, but I can't because if I let go, it's going to stop working. Right, okay, it's come out again. It must be something to do with the alignment of these screws. Yes, I'm getting there. Well, I'm going to unplug it. And now let's do these screws up just like they are now. So this thing must have to be perfect with the one at the bottom. I know it didn't actually play there. Right, so let's plug it back in now. No. There we go, can you see? Right, so that is definitely the thing that goes from the top to the bottom. Do you know what, that could be slightly off. That looked like it was pointing back a little bit. Because I'm sure in the factory they wouldn't be spending hours messing around with the exact alignment on this. Maybe that was it, maybe that got knocked back. Well, let's see it now. No. Right, it's been about 5 minutes later and it's doing something different now. So basically now I have to keep unplugging it because look, it's not doing anything. I'm pressing play and nothing's happening. Now I was looking, when it goes all the way in, these micro switches at the back here, these ones here, basically do go, I've got to be careful because I'm plugged in at the moment, but these micro switches at the back here do go off to one side. So basically when the disc is fully loaded up, it's in that position there where it's over now, everything is over to this side here. Now I've checked for continuity there and there is continuity there, but right now I have to keep unplugging it to do anything. So if I hit the buttons at the front, no longer is it doing anything, and I've just got the standby light. So I have to unplug it and then plug it back in again, and then it comes up with a display, and then it starts doing what it normally does. So it's worse now than it was a few minutes ago. See? And look, it's not as responsive now when I'm pressing play. I thought before every time I pressed that it went straight back in. See, it went back in on its own there without me doing anything. Look, now it's locked into place, but it's not letting me do anything. And it's not letting me press open either. Also, if you have a look here, sorry, it's a bit of a bad camera angle, let me unplug it. If you have a look here, can you see that's fully pushed in? That shouldn't be in as much as that. Look at that. Do you know what I mean? And when I do that, look, it is taking off that little clicker there. Do you know, I wonder whether it thinks it's undone and that's why it's not playing. It thinks, because it keeps ejecting, doesn't it? Every time it goes in, it keeps ejecting. So let's oh, see, it spun there. But maybe because of that switch, it thinks it's ejected. So let's press play to get it back in, and let's keep it out this time. There, let's forcefully keep it out. There you go. There. Yes, it's still doing it, and it's come up with a display at the front here. Look, can you see 1, 2, 3? All the numbers are here. Right, now I'm going to let go. Well, actually, let me press play. Yeah, I'm on track 2. It says track 2 here. And it's counting 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. Right, now, let go. It's this that's faulty. Well, obviously it was the belt that's faulty, but this thing here is faulty. Because I didn't even press eject there. What it is, oh, excellent. It thinks it's ejecting all the time. So look. And now it's seized up. Look, can't press play, and it's no display. Put it out a little bit. And now, yes, and now it's come on again. So I need to sort out whatever it is here is pulling it in too much. Now, is that my fault because I've misaligned it? Do you know what I mean? Or is there adjustment on the catch at the side here? Because every time I let go of that, it's pulling it in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unplug it. Brilliant, we know what the fault is. I mean, I still don't know if it's properly playing, but it's recognising the discs in there. I need to find out why it's pulling it in this much, because it's just pulling it in too much there. So let's unplug it, and I'm going to take it apart again, and this time now, because I know more about it, maybe I just have to lift that gear and turn it just a fraction, just, you know, like whatever, just a few degrees this way, so it doesn't pull it in as far, because this is the same as me clicking it in. Oh, brilliant. I'm well happy with this. So that's why when I was messing around with this, I must have, I don't know, maybe at the same time I knocked it out here or something. And that was just like a red herring there. Because I was thinking it can't be that sensitive, because when this is spinning, there's going to be bits of vibration on it anyway. I'm hopeful now. Taken the micro switch off, and I was trying to trace it back from here. Now let me zoom out. So basically we know that this front bit here, this is so hard to film, this front bit here is getting pulled in too much, isn't it? Now look, when I do that, can you see it's kind of putting a bit of strain on this black thing here, and then I notice this arm goes right the way to the very back here, and look at it at the back here. Can you see it looks like it's actually been bent in? It doesn't look very nice. Let me just eject the tray. There we go. If you look there, that one there doesn't look perfectly straight. And as well as that, can you see that there's a little screw there to adjust? Yeah, there's something you can turn there, but yet there's no head on it. So I think you just got to use pliers and kind of bend it round. So I'm thinking if I was to adjust that, I could put more or less pressure on it, because when I wind this in here, watch, see, this thing here comes back and then it hits against this. So I could loosen it up a little bit so it doesn't push it back as far. So that way then it's going to be more out here. I don't know if that's making sense or not. It's too big to film, that's the problem, you see. But yeah, when I do this, the tray itself is coming out, yeah? But look, this arm is stationary, because this arm is purely to do with the flap that opens up and down. And then when I put it back in here, if I was to make that screw go more out that way, it's not going to be pulling in the flap as far as it is at the moment. Or do you know what it could be? It could be as simple as that, just bending that out a little bit, just like that there, to make it look like it should be straight, because when it left the factory it would have been straight. So now let's try it. I mean, how that would have got bent in the real world, I don't know. Right, now that there is that's too loose. So you can see by straining that up now, can you see it's too loose? Look, yeah, it's all the way out here, which is not nice. So what I'm thinking is, rather than bend it, why don't we keep it square? And now why don't I use some long nose pliers and just do it, turn it with some long nose pliers. Let's see if that's going to work. Doesn't help that it's under these wires as well. So I need to put it in more, so I need this one to go out. Oh, actually, there's a screw thread. Perfect. Look, if I put that back in now, so you should be able to get this perfect. There's a little screw thread just through here. So all I have to do is turn that. Yeah, that's going to be the one. This is the selection for the different voltages as well. Right, so... oh no, that's just broken. That's all seized up. Would that be why maybe it was bent? That's not gonna work now. Do I need to get some WD-40 on this, I wonder? No, that's seized solid. I'm gonna get some WD-40 on that. Okay, so I'm just gonna spray it with some WD-40, try to free it up a bit. Alright, here we go. Ready? It's out. Brilliant. There you go. So you can see now, because I've been scraping it with the pliers trying to get it all out, it's all chewed. So what I'm thinking is, let me find another screw that will fit that, and then I'll be able to get perfect adjustment rather than trying to get pliers in there. We can just use the access hole at the back here. Looks like it's going to be a machine screw 3.5mm. Found one that fits. It's definitely not 3.5mm. Yeah, I think it's 3mm or less. The only thing is, it's way too long, but that's not a problem because we can cut it down to size using this. So it's just a little machine screw. So now, what I'm going to be doing is, watch this. So let me zoom out. Now, obviously, we want this to be perfect, not just because it's not going to work, but also we want it to look nice as well. And it doesn't look nice if it's going to be hanging too loose like this or too far in. So it's going to be hard to film again. But what I'm going to be doing is, I'm just going to be using my hands here and I'm just going to be leveling it up perfectly like this, so not too far in and not too far out, just perfect. And then I'm going to basically just butt the screw up to the back here where it needs to be. Yeah, so that's too far in now, so it needs to be there. So basically I only need to have about the length of my finger off the screw left. Now luckily this machine screw goes right the way up to the head here, and then you see in future somebody will still be able to adjust this nice and easily. So I'm going to cut it around about here, and that will give plenty of slack to allow for adjustment in the future. So with this one now, I presume it's going to be an M3, so let's screw it into this hole here, the M3 hole. Now, never to be tempted to put it into the bigger one, because if I put that into 3.5mm, of course I don't have to screw it in and I can just do this, but it won't make a neat cut. Sometimes you might get away with it, but a lot of times you won't. So this is useful, you know, if you're like an electrician and you're doing back boxes and stuff and sockets on, then you need to cut down these to the right size, because sometimes the ones you get with the actual sockets may be a little bit too small. So there you go. So it's going to be cutting it in the middle here. So I want it, I think I'm going to do it about there, and that will leave me plenty then. So now all I have to do is just do this, and it's just going to cut straight through it. Just like that. Yeah. And now I can unscrew it from here. And it should be a nice neat cut. There you go, perfect. Right, don't forget to take out the old one from in here. There we go. Yeah, there you go, listen. But I think it can pull it in a little bit more to make it look nicer. I think we have it. I think we have it. Excellent. So if you look now, you can see now it's nice and straight, and yet it still allows it to be pushed in, and the micro switch is now not being pulled in. So what I have to do now is get this back together, and I think we will have success. Right, here goes. Let's plug it in. And now let's see what's going to happen. Excellent, it came out nice. Put the disc in, press play. Let's see if it stays up. Fantastic, first time, and it's spinning there. And it's come up with the lights here, and I'm going to press play now. Oh, it's already playing track 1. Right, let's move the camera angle so you can see it. I'll just do handheld. So you can see now it's spinning nice and freely. You can see the lights that come up here is flashing on 1. So now let's go over, press play, and it should go to number 2. And can you see there it's gone to number 2 here, and it's counting down there. Perfect. So it looks like it's working. I haven't connected up anything to the back yet. And the little screw that I was messing with is out the back here. Can you just see it? Just through there now. So you've still got access to it through there. Yeah, so it was quite nice that. So a bit of a mechanical fix as well as the rubber belt as well. So it was quite nice working that out there with the little mechanism here. And how nice is the inside of it? You can tell again it was made to be taken apart and fixed. A lovely, lovely product. So what I'm going to do now is put the cover back on, give it a quick clean even though it looks immaculate already, and then I think let me set it up downstairs where it's nice and clean, and yeah, we'll connect up. I might connect up my little Bose speakers to it and see what it sounds like. So now if I go to this one here, what a lovely mechanism. So there we have it. Let's get it back together. Have it, and if you have a look, it's all looking really very good and clean. There's a scratch at the front here by my thumb, and also there's a deep scratch here that goes right into the aluminium there. But apart from that, it is looking good. This thing is very heavy, but yeah, just another quality piece of equipment. So let's get it set up now and finish up the video. So I've been doing the testing on it and it's all testing absolutely fine. I've just plugged in my little Bose speaker into the back here, just fired the phono connectors and it's working fine. You've also got an option to plug in an 8-pin DIN if you were to connect this up to other B&O equipment. I have to say I really like it. It's just so simple and easy to use. You put your disc in, press play and skip the tracks from there. That is it. There's nothing more to it. If you had the remote control, you could do more features, but as it stands now, all you can do is change the things on the display and press play and skip the tracks, which is nice because it's just so simple to use. You haven't got to read a manual and learn every single part of it. I'm really happy with this one. So this is a Type 5112. It was manufactured between 1985 and October 1987. So you're looking at something that could be 35 years old. It weighs 8 kilograms in total. It's got a 3-beam laser pickup. The inside of it is mostly Japanese. So the mechanism and the electronics is Japanese, and then the design and the casing is all B&O. So a lot of people, that will upset a lot of people, but the way I look at it is the Japanese do that particularly well. So there's no harm in having that on the inside, as long as the outside looks nice and the inside's quality. Well, that's a thumbs up in my opinion. I suppose back in the day, if you paid £575 for it and you could get a Japanese model for half the price, you probably would be upset hearing that. But now when you're buying them second hand on eBay and they're still working 35 years later, I don't really think you can knock the fact that the inside is Japanese. So what else? Other things it said online is that the DAC, which is a digital to analog converter, was made by Burr Brown, and that was apparently a high-end American manufacturer normally associated with industrial devices, like high quality stuff. You didn't see them in the domestic market. So yeah, it's a lovely thing. So let me just show you it in operation. It is working perfectly. So you can see that slides out there. Everything's nice and clean. I like the fact that you put the disc in the wrong way round as well. Now, if you push it in here, it won't start playing automatically. If you press play, it will start playing automatically. So watch this. If you just do that now, it will just go in and then it will just do nothing. Yeah. And then if you press play now, it will then start playing track 1. And it's interesting, when it comes up here, it only goes as far as track 12, but you can go further than that and it comes up with the track number over here. Sorry, up to 14. After that, the arrow will flash here and it will then just show you what track you're on there. So there you go, 1 off 1. And if I was to press display, you can see we're 4 seconds in. And that one is the total time of the CD, 12 seconds in. Yeah, and listen to that. It's lovely. And then we can go on to the next track by just hitting play, and you can see track 2. And now watch. See, 2 off 1, and 3 seconds into the track, and 2 minutes 40 seconds into the CD itself. So it's very simple. Let's go all the way up past 14 so you can see what happens there. You can see every time I press it, it's moving along. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. See, it's over here now. 16. Yeah. And it will just keep flashing there. Now 62 minutes into the CD, and 16 off CD 1, and 10 seconds into the track. Isn't that lovely? So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll hopefully see you very shortly. Take care. Bye now.